Childhood Experiences by Sean Cavanaugh. In the 1920s, Professor Louis Terman of Stanford conducted a longitudinal study where he followed 1,470 individuals with an IQ of 140 or higher. The outcomes of these participants were astonishing, as there was great disparity amongst them. Those of the most successful 150 individuals ended up with a total of 98 graduate degrees, whereas those of the least successful 150 individuals ended up with a total of 8 graduate degrees and high school diplomas. Furthermore, of those who didn't make the 140 cutoff, 2 of those individuals earned Nobel Prizes in physics. What was the factor that they found to have the greatest impact on the outcome of these individuals' lives? The family environment. Currently in social work, there's a hyper focus on macro level change. And as a result, I feel like we are overlooking changes that are indispensable at the micro level. Nearly 60% of the adult population and half of youth in America have experienced adverse childhood experiences. The majority of individuals don't know what adverse childhood experiences are and how they can affect individuals in the long term negatively. Adverse childhood experiences can consist of neglect in the home, experiencing or witnessing violence in the home or in the community, physical and sexual abuse, or bullying. The results of these experiences can lead individuals to be more likely to have heart disease, drug addiction and alcoholism, increased rates of depression and anxiety, amongst other physical abnormalities. So the population that I chose to create a psychoeducational group for was African Americans of lower socioeconomic status. I chose this because at my previous internship, I worked in South Dallas at a location called Fraser Revitalization. We primarily worked with African American youth of lower socioeconomic status. And I was astonished at the rate of behavioral problems I witnessed, hitting, punching, the cursing that I heard amongst the children, children humping each other and doing sexual type behaviors. I even had one child who was sexually molested and was shot with a stray bullet at the age of 3. And after that, and now working at my current internship where I'm working with African American adults, and a lot of them are now talking about the trauma and the adversity they endured when they were children. I think that there needs to be a greater focus now on what is happening at the micro level within the home. Many children now are put on antipsychotics and mood stabilizers, specifically children that are on welfare and do not have private insurance, and they're actually 4 times as likely to be prescribed these medications. And although these medications make them more tractable in the moment, it actually prevents them from healthy maturation and self-actualization because these medications inhibit levels of motivation and curiosity. As I said, most of the children that I worked with didn't have present fathers, and statistics support that, saying that around 85% of African American children of lower socioeconomic status are raised in single-parent homes. Another study actually found that when looking at children raised by parents with professional careers opposed to those raised by parents on welfare, that the positive to negative feedback was quite disparate. So for professional families, they provide positive feedback 6 to 1. So every 6 positive affirmations, a child will get 1 negative. But on families on welfare, they get 2 negative affirmations for every 1 positive. So what type of effect does that have on one's mindset, their mood, things of that nature? So the original ACEs study, or Adverse Childhood Experiences, was conducted by Kaiser Permanente from 1995 to 1997. Since then, there have been a myriad of other research that has corroborated the findings of this study. Specifically, as I mentioned earlier, Nadine Burke-Harris, who works a lot with adverse childhood experiences, having over 20 years of research, has found that childhood adversity can tip the child's developmental trajectory and affect their physiology. It can trigger chronic inflammation and hormonal changes that can last a lifetime. It can dramatically increase heart disease, stroke, cancer, and diabetes, but it can also increase substance abuse, depression, and anxiety. Children who score 4 or more on an ACEs test are 4 times as likely to be overweight and 32.6 times more likely to be diagnosed with a learning or behavioral problem. So why are we not focusing more on the micro level? So the psychoeducational group will consist of 4 90-minute sessions. Clients will be provided a scale prior to and at the end of completion, and they will use a Likert scale to rate things such as how knowledgeable they are about positive childhood experiences, how knowledgeable they are about negative childhood experiences, and how well they are, or how much they know about attachment styles. They say that knowledge is power, and it is my hope that by educating individuals on adverse childhood experiences and positive childhood experiences and the implications of those experiences, that real change can begin, that parents can now be more attuned to their children and can become a protective factor for the adversity that children are going to face when they go into the real world. Many studies now show a correlation between positive childhood experiences and resiliency. Resilient children have a greater capacity for enduring hardship using problem-solving skills. They convey higher levels of social competence, and they contain a sense of purpose that children who are enduring ongoing adverse childhood experiences do not have. Furthermore, I believe that when we start to effectuate change in the home, that change will start to permeate within the community, and as a result, cultural values will change as well. Thank you.